Hi again. I just wanted to check back in and see if you knew what you wanted to order.
Oh, yes, we are ready to go.
Great. All right. What can I get for you? I can come back.
No, you stay right where you are, Missy. I will have the lamb.
I'm so sorry. We don't actually have lamb anywhere on the menu.
No, I saw it on this menu, so you have it.
I can come back.
Okay, listen, tell me, what do you like?
All right, guys. Today we're going to do quite a bit of smoking. We're going to use a coal smoker. We're going to use a charcoal and wood smoker. We're going to use a propane smoker. We're going to do tabletop smoking. We're going to smoke inside the grill. So a lot of stuff going on today. I'm going to start as we would normally want to season anything we do as we're cooking or before we're cooking. We want to season those things that we're going to smoke. And I start with a pretty basic rub. These are classical rub ingredients. Little bit of twist with my own flavors that I like. You're free to do whatever you like. Experiment. See what you like. Brown sugar. Smoked paprika. A lot of recipes that you're going to see online or in cookbooks just call for paprika. Smoked paprika really is that's what's going to make it. Salt, black pepper, ground onion powder, granulated onion, granulated garlic, cumin, just a little bit of chili powder. Now here's what's special, I guess, for mine. I like ground chipotle, and so a little bit of heat. A lot of recipes will call for cayenne. I choose the ground chipotle. It adds another layer of smokiness while also incorporating a little heat. And ground allspice. I like barbecue that's savory, a little sweet, a little heat, a little vinegary and acidic. Kind of the combination of the whole country. If we were to do a real in-depth study of not just smoking but barbecue around the country, every region has their own specific influence, and what I like is really a combination of all of those. Kansas City, St. Louis, Memphis, Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina. I like it all. Now, in a truly Texas style, I do this dry rub, and I like to apply this pretty generously, rub it, massage it in. At least 4 or 5 hours, preferably overnight. Too bad you can't smell it. So this is going to go on a brisket flat. I'm just cooking for 2, so I've got a thin, it's from the top layer, it's called the flat, the brisket flat. I have a picnic pork shoulder, small, I just cut the neck off. I've got a whole chicken. I have a pork tenderloin. What else am I doing? I've got some cheese, some medium cheddar cheese for the cold smoke. Gonna get the meat all rubbed down, and we'll come back in a few hours and get all this started. Okay, so here we are. The rub is made. The brisket, the chicken, the pork has been rubbed. It's been sitting for several hours, and it's time to get started. We've got to preheat some of these grills. One of these is going to be wood fired. I'll use lump charcoal, and so I want to show you the process from start to finish. So here we go. So here's the wood grill. You can see, let's see, over here to the left, smaller box. That's our fire box. That's where this lump charcoal is going to go. And as those coals, they're hottest when they're white, a little bit ashy on the top. Not when there's a lot of flame, but I'll show you in a little while. I'm going to build the fire, and then when the fire is nice and hot, just before we bring out the brisket, we're going to use this wood right here. It's been soaking overnight. This large chunk here is hickory, and we're going to hickory smoke the brisket. The reason we want this in the water, we don't want the hickory to burn, actually. We don't want it to necessarily catch fire. We want the smoke from it. So the wetter the wood is, the more smoke it's going to create rather than a lot of flame and just heat. We want the smoke. So for the brisket, we're using hickory. Over here, this is mesquite, and we're going to mesquite smoke the pork butt and the whole chicken. And then back here in this smaller dish, we've got apple wood. That's going to be for our pork tenderloin. And over here, we have this little dish right here of apple wood. You see that brand there? This is apple wood sawdust, and it's going to go in this gun smoker, a smoking gun, and we'll be able to smoke cheese. We're going to use this same sawdust, though. I want to show off my, made this some time ago. This is my 5-gallon bucket cold smoker, using a cookie can. You can tell it's already been burned some. The most difficult part was eating the cookies. Here's my bucket. Has my little smokestack. I'll show it all off, all the detail, in a while. This is a small fish tank, a little motor for aquariums. At any rate, let's set this up here, and let's go through the whole starting a fire process. Okay, laid a couple of pieces of this fat wood fire starter. It's just a couple of pieces of wood. They've been soaked a little bit, but it's not pouring a whole bunch of fire starter, that liquid fire starter, on charcoal. Then everything is going to taste like that lighter fluid. there in the middle. Alright, we're going to let all this burn. We'll come back when we add the hickory. And for those of you that like to see fire, here it is.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire. Not today.
All right, we're back here now. Fires have been going. We've added to the box the soaked hickory. You can already see it smoking. It's going to smoke and not burn. Now when we close the box, we have moisture, we have air coming from, air is coming in through the firebox, through this hole in the side that joins the 2 boxes. The warm air and the smoke is going to flow from the hot box through the cooking chamber and out the smokestack, ensuring that this whole chamber is full of smoke. And that's what's going to add that unique smoked flavor that you only get in this way. And so here we go. Close the box and you'll see the smoke. And when we put the meat in, it's been rubbed. That smoke, the heat will fill this chamber. Alright, very good. Back in just a moment. Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands. Alright. The brisket is in the cooking chamber. And we'll close that. And we'll open the chimney. I don't know how much you can see. See the smoke coming up out of the chimney, and that's a good sign. We're going to let this go about 2.5 hours. And we're going to come back. We're going to wrap the brisket in foil and put it back in fat side up for another 2.5 hours or so. And when we come to wrap the brisket in foil, we're going to set up the propane smoker to smoke the pork shoulder and the chicken. And then we'll talk about cold smoking and stovetop smoking. So, see you again in a couple hours.
Hi, I'm Robert Sierra, Heinz Pitmaster partner.
We partnered with Heinz
because they're the softest.
Give me the line again.
I touched the chicken with the sauce. My Texas style sauce is bold, spicy, and delicious.
Nothing makes me happier than great barbecue and someone eating off of the plate I'm holding.
Amazing.
My Memphis style sauce is sweet and spicy.
Our signatures on every bottle.
Pitmasters don't make great spokespeople, they make great tasting barbecue sauce. Heinz barbecue sauce, made with the masters.
Okay, so now the brisket It's been in the smoker for about 2.5 hours. The temperature's up a little bit. With this kind of wood fire in this box, it's really hard to regulate, unlike the propane that I'm going to show you here in a second. But now it's time to pull the brisket, wrap it in foil, and put it back in the smoker to finish off its cooking, about another 2 hours. And in the meantime, we're going to smoke the pork and the chicken. It's a small piece of pork butt, so it shouldn't take too long. Check out this beef. So look at this. Yeah, see, we're at 300. I'd like to be between 225 and 250, so it's up just a little bit. But look at that beautiful beef brisket. That's going to be just about good enough to eat. So it's time to wrap it. All right, I'm going to try this with one hand. I'm going to grab it with the tongs. That's the piece of fat on the top, and so we want to keep that on the top. And right here to the foil, that's going to go. All right, it's wrapped. And it's hot. So right back in the smoker it's going to go. For about 2 hours. All right. Now let's talk about this propane. This is easier to regulate the heat. Okay. I moved the shelves so I can fit the chicken up here at the top and the pork down here at the bottom. I have a water pan, and that's important because smoking can be very drying. It's thermostat controlled, so it'll kick on and kick off a little bit. And here's a pan where the wood chips go. And we're doing both of these in mesquite. Nicely soaked so that they will smoke and not just burn. All right. My igniter has gone out on this one, so we're going to use a camp lighter. We're going to let that heat up. It'll get this little bit of smoke starting. I'm going to put in the chicken and the pork. Be back in just a minute. Okay, here we are. Chicken is in. Pork is in. Flame is going. Water in the pan, you can't see that. But you can hear that sizzle. That's the water in the wood. And soon it's going to start smoldering, which is exactly what we're after. Keep an eye on the temperature, and the chicken especially ought to be ready in about 2.5 hours. The pork might be closer to 3 to 3.5. I want the pork to be able to pull and shred, so it'll be food safe. It'll be ready to eat. Could slice it in about 2.5 hours. But it'll be 3.5, maybe even 4, to be able to shred. And so we're just going to play that by ear. And I'll check everything in about an hour and a half, and we'll start the stovetop and the cold smoking. See you in an hour. All right, kids, so here's the end of our smoking saga. So You can't see it right now. There's just a few embers still glowing, but our beef is done. It's been about 5.5 hours total. Now it's just resting. We're going to look in the propane smoker. Oh yeah. Look at that delicious chicken. There's the pork butt or shoulder. Here's the stove top. So a little disposable aluminum pan, and this is apple wood. And so going on that little pan is this. You can get this at the at most stores. This is a perforated pan, so it'll allow the smoke through. So we have our rubbed pork loin, and I also want to show you some cheese. This is the smoking gun. We'll put that together here in just a minute. And here's a little more cheese in the homemade smoker. It looks like a little science project, doesn't it? Okay, our stovetop smoked pork tenderloin, applewood smoked. I'm doing it outside because I don't have a very good vent over my range inside the house, and this is going to smoke. Right on the burner goes the pan with the soaked wood chips. It won't take long to start smoking. And right on that pan goes the perforated pan with the pork loin fillet in it. Just barely getting a little, I think it's more steam than it is smoke. And I already have waiting just another pan to go on top as a lid. That keeps the smoke in, just like the propane smoker, just like the wood smoker. Okay, let's talk about this little smoking gun. Oh, you might notice just at the back of the char grill, I'll move this out of the way, I have two little pans, a small little mini loaf pan, and then the small square, both disposable pans. A small square one, if you want to incorporate a little light smoky flavor to something you're grilling, fill that with again watered, soaked wood chips. In the smaller mini loaf pan, I put water. Again, mentioned before, smoking is very drying, and so adding a little moisture keeps things from drying out. So to use this smoking gun, we're lighting a little of that apple wood sawdust in a heating chamber. We're going to turn it on. It's battery operated. There's a fan, and that fan, you can see the smoke filling up this dome. We place the dome over a plate. It'll seal itself and it'll fill with smoke. This is for light smoking. Doesn't take very long. Incorporates a very light flavor, but you can do this to fish, you can do this cheeses. There are cocktails that are smoked, and this would be a method. Now, in much the same way as the smoking gun, 5-gallon bucket, some brass and copper fittings, little can, little copper tube, This is all from aquarium pieces. This will blow air. It's just a air filter aerator motor. And the tube goes into the can, into the pipe fitting right here. So now you can see the smoke coming out of the little the chimney stack of the homemade 5-gallon bucket cold smoker with a ½ pound of medium cheddar cheese. That'll be ready in about another 45 minutes. You can see still some smoke in the chamber from the cold smoker, the little smoking gun. You can see the smoke coming off of the pork loin, the pork tenderloin. That'll be ready in about another half an hour. And chicken and pork, give it one more look. Oh, look at that chicken. Look at that pork. The beef will be ready to slice in about another 20 minutes or so. Obviously for this week, I don't expect you to smoke. Perhaps you do or don't have the tools or the supplies, but maybe this is something you may consider an interest in or learning a little more about. I'm going to do one more video for this week on handmade pasta. So that's nothing more than some oil, eggs, salt, flour, and you don't even have to have any fancy equipment. So we're going to do some handmade pasta, and what I would like you to do this week is something. Smoke something. You can stovetop smoke with very little investment and no fancy tools or supplies. This is going to be a bit hot. Look at that, how that's going right there. Marvelous. Or you can make some handmade pasta. Your choice. Good luck, and see you again next week.
There were over 100 dangerous gas barbecue fires in Victoria last summer. Some of them turned into house fires. So before lighting your barbecue, stop. Know the drill. Put soapy water on the connections to check for gas leaks. If you see bubbles, turn the gas off. Stay safe from barbecue fires. Know the drill before you grill. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
I swear I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, but that was awesome.